The storm didn't arrive like weather, it arrived like a warning. The sky cracked open with a sound that felt too deep to be thunder. In that moment, something unseen slipped into the town with it. By the time anyone noticed, the wind had already begun to howl like a living thing. It twisted through the narrow streets, rattling windows and bending trees at impossible angles. The air felt thick, like it carried a presence no one could explain. I was sitting alone in my house when the first blackout hit. The lights flickered once, twice, then died completely without a sound. Silence followed, heavy and suffocating, broken only by the distant roar of the storm. I reached for my phone, but there was no signal at all. No internet, no messages, nothing but a blank screen reflecting my uneasy face. It felt like the outside world had been cut off entirely. A sudden flash of lightning illuminated the street outside my window. For a split second, everything looked frozen like a photograph. Something about that moment felt wrong, like something had moved when it shouldn't have. The thunder that followed wasn't sharp or quick. It dragged low and unnatural across the sky. I felt it vibrate through the floor beneath my feet. The wind grew louder, forcing itself against the walls of the house. It didn't just whistle, it screamed with strange tones. Some of those tones almost resembled distant voices. Then came the knocking from somewhere unseen. It wasn't from the door or any window at all. It came from inside the walls, faint but deliberate. I froze as the knocking repeated slowly and patiently. Each sound felt like something testing its way through the structure. My breathing became shallow as I listened. Another flash of lightning tore through the darkness outside. This time I stepped closer to the window, despite the fear. I needed to see what was out there. The street was empty, but something felt deeply wrong. The trees bent in the wind, yet their shadows didn't match their movement. For a second, it looked like one of them had shifted on its own. I blinked hard, trying to shake the creeping fear inside me. I told myself the storm was playing tricks on my mind, but deep down, I knew something wasn't right. The second lightning flash revealed something impossible. For a fraction of a second, a shape stood across the street. It was too tall, too still, and gone when darkness returned. My breath caught as I stared into the black void outside. The storm seemed to rage harder, as if hiding what I saw. My mind refused to dismiss it. I tried to convince myself it was just a trick of light. Shadows can stretch and distort during storms, yet the image stayed burned into my vision. Another flash came, brighter than before. I leaned closer to the glass with my pulse racing. The street appeared empty at first glance. Then I saw movement near the edge of the road. Something shifted just beyond the reach of the nearest light. It didn't walk or run. It seemed to slide. The thing was massive and unnatural in its motion. The thunder that followed shook the house violently. I stepped back with cold and unsteady hands. A strange sound cut through the storm suddenly. It wasn't wind or thunder at all. It sounded like something breathing in the dark. I held my breath to listen more carefully. The sound came again, longer and deeper. It felt too deliberate to be natural. Another lightning strike split the sky open. The shape was closer now, near the old tree. Its outline flickered like it couldn't hold form. I could feel it watching me from outside. Even at that distance, its presence felt heavy. It didn't feel like anything human or animal. The wind died down for a brief, unnatural second. In that silence, the breathing grew louder. It sounded like it was just outside my house. Then a whisper slipped through the storm. It was faint but unmistakable. It sounded like a broken voice forming words. Somehow, it almost sounded like my name. I stumbled back from the window in fear. My heart raced uncontrollably. Every instinct told me to hide and stay away. I wanted to pretend I hadn't seen anything, but it was already too late. Morning never truly came after that night. Only a dim grey light filled the storm. The town looked lifeless and blurred. I barely slept through the long hours. Every sound made my heart jump in fear. The memory of that shape refused to fade. I tried my phone again for any signal. The screen remained empty and useless. It felt like the world beyond was gone. I looked outside for some sense of normalcy. The street was empty and soaked. Everything felt abandoned in a hurry. Across the street, a house door stood open. I was sure it had been closed before. Now it creaked slowly with the wind. Lightning lit the inside of that house briefly. I saw a room frozen mid-action. It looked like someone left in panic. Thunder rolled, and I flinched hard. My eyes stayed locked on that doorway. It felt like something was watching from within. Then I heard the breathing again. It was low and uneven like before. This time, it felt closer than ever. I turned slowly as fear tightened in my chest. The The sound came from behind the walls. It moved like something searching. I stepped back, trying to stay calm. My mind raced with desperate explanations. None of them made sense. Then the scratching began softly. It sounded like nails dragging across wood. Slowly, it grew louder and deliberate. The sound moved along the walls inch by inch. It felt like something tracing the inside of the house. I held my breath in terror. I backed toward the center of the room. I didn't dare make any noise. Even breathing felt dangerous. The scratching suddenly stopped without warning. Silence filled the room completely. It felt heavier than before. For a moment, nothing happened at all. I thought maybe it was over. Then something exhaled behind me. I didn't turn around immediately. My body locked in place. The air behind me felt cold and alive. Another breath brushed my neck slowly. A chill ran down my spine. It was right behind me. My fingers trembled as I forced myself to move. I turned slowly with my heart pounding. The room wasn't empty anymore. The shape behind me twisted unnaturally. It didn't belong to one form. It bent as if trying to fit reality. Lightning revealed it clearly for a second. Its body looked like rain and shadow combined. It rippled like something alive. I stumbled back in pure horror. My mind refused to accept what I saw. It felt impossible. Then it tilted its head slowly. The motion felt curious rather than aggressive. It was studying me. A broken sound came from it. At first it was just noise. Then it began forming into something human. It tried to speak a simple word. The sound cracked and stretched unnaturally. It sounded wrong. Then it spoke my name clearly. The voice was mine, but distorted. Hearing it made me feel sick. I backed into the wall in panic. It moved closer without walking. It slid toward me effortlessly. The room felt smaller with each second. The storm outside grew louder. It felt like it was feeding the creature. It reached out toward me slowly. Its arm shifted and changed shape. The air grew colder. I tried to scream but couldn't. My body refused to respond. I could only watch. It stopped just inches away from me. Time felt frozen again. Its presence pressed down on me. Then it smiled in a way that felt deeply wrong. It wasn't human at all. It was something pretending. The lights suddenly flickered back on briefly. The creature's form snapped violently. Then it vanished instantly. I collapsed to the floor, gasping for air. My body shook uncontrollably. But I knew it wasn't gone. The storm outside grew more violent. Thunder rolled constantly. The house trembled under pressure. I forced myself to stand despite fear. I needed answers now. Fear alone wouldn't save me. I found an old box of papers nearby. My hands moved quickly. Something told me it mattered. Inside were old documents and clippings. They described a storm like this one. The same events had happened before. Disappearances, voices, and something watching. The pattern was identical. This wasn't random at all. The truth settled in my chest heavily. This was a cycle, repeating itself. Something had returned. A crash came from the hallway suddenly. Darkness stretched deeper than before. It felt alive. Then I heard footsteps approaching slowly. They were uneven and heavy. Something was learning to walk. My name echoed again from the darkness. But now it sounded layered. Multiple voices spoke together. The figure emerged more solid than before. It looked more human now. That made it worse. Faces shifted across its body. Eyes blinked in the wrong places. Mouths moved silently. It stepped closer toward me again. The storm outside suddenly stopped. Silence filled everything. Then it spoke one clear word. It said, "Stay." The voice felt like a command. My body resisted weakly. It felt like control pressing into me. I struggled to move. The creature's form became stable. It looked completely human now. It looked exactly like me. I saw my own face staring back. Something inside me broke. I felt myself slipping away. My thoughts grew distant and slow. My body felt heavy and unreal. I was losing control. It touched my face gently. Everything went silent in my mind. Fear disappeared instantly. My memories began to fade slowly. My identity slipped away piece by piece. Darkness filled the space inside me. Then suddenly, I was standing again. The room looked normal. The storm was gone completely. Everything felt calm and quiet. I looked down at my hands. They felt steady and real. I saw my reflection in the window. My face looked normal at first, but something was wrong. Behind my eyes, something watched silently. It felt patient and aware. It wasn't me anymore. Outside, the town returned to normal life. Lights came back on slowly. Everything seemed fine. But I knew the truth now. The storm didn't take anything away. It left something behind. When I tried to speak again, I noticed something. The voice that came out wasn't entirely mine, and whatever was inside me was still watching.